Wow. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's get right down to business, shall we? So, if you saw any of my recent live streams, because that's pretty much all I do, I'm not the most organized. I just got to go when the emotion hits me, right? So, if you saw my most recent live stream, or a few of my most recent live streams, you'll notice that I was talking about our best month ever and hoping to make about 200K this month, maybe a little bit over that, right? For us, that'll be our best month. I have no problem telling you guys that, right? Cool. So, on one of the transactions where we're going to make a lot of money, the seller has decided not to sell. Not to sell. They're like, I'll give you a little background on it, right? So she's an older lady. They think it could be the onset of dementia. I told them, yeah, right. She's just having remorse. Now, she's in foreclosure. She has no money and no income. The house is going to get taken from her no matter what. Doesn't matter what she likes or hates. The house is going to get taken from her, right? We're able to get her some money. We're able to get her to stay in the house a little bit longer. Everything was fine up until last Wednesday. Last Wednesday comes, right? She's MIA. Nobody's heard from her. No nothing. She calls my protege to tell him, hey, I'm not selling my house, this and this and that. Protege doesn't know what to do. It's his deal, right? So he's just like, okay, right? So here we are. We have the deal in hand. Everything's already in title. We're working on the closing package right now. Everything's a go. And then she all of a sudden got lost, right? It sucks, but it is what it is. So that being said, we got to fix it, right? It's a lot of money, guys. It's over $70,000, right? Well, for me, that's a lot of money. This one deal is over 70,000. It's closer to 90, right? So we're trying to fix it. She doesn't have everything in a row the way she needs to. So if you saw the title of this video, pretty point blank, guys, we're going to show you what the hell you need to do when your seller starts acting funny. It doesn't matter if they ghosted you. It doesn't matter if they decided to tell you, I'm not selling. I don't care. We're not coming to closing. Don't bother me. Never call me again. I don't care what they tell you. If they're acting like that, don't mess with them and don't keep calling them. You need to man up or woman up, right? If you're an investor and you're in this game, you need to know what to do when somebody says, I'm not going to come to closing. That's your money. Now, like I told you, this deal is anywhere from $70,000 to $90,000, right? So it's not a game for us. So when the seller decides, I'm not going to sell, and they just, I'm not going to sell, we know what to do, right? So in short, what I'm going to show you guys how to do, and we're going to get right to it right now. Like, subscribe, all that other stuff. You see it up top or wherever it is, right? Send me a text message if you need help with anything. Glad to help you. That being said, let's get right down to it. So the seller says, I'm not going to sell. You have a chance to make a whole bunch of money, and now you're panicking. I'm not panicking, but the average person's going to panic. They don't know what to do. Like, oh my God, how am I going to get paid? Quit playing and sue them. Sue the seller. That's all you got to do. Sounds like a lot. Sounds scary, I know, but it's not. And I'm going to show you. All you have to do is have your ducks in a row, right? You have to anticipate these things. If they don't listen, just be ready to sue them. Don't screw around and, talk smack and then not be ready to pull the trigger. You can't get in this game and let people just not honor the contract. She signed a contract. We have the third-party authorization. I mean, we're already in title and the closing set up for the 15th. Okay? That's like 2 days from now. Not panicked. Even if I don't make this closing, we're still going to close on the deal. So here's what's going on. When I posted the live video saying, hey, we're going to go into this, I haven't heard from the seller at that point, but the seller finally got back to me. or her niece did. The niece got back to me and told me basically I haven't been able to get a hold of my aunt, who is the owner of the property, for 3 weeks. I said, okay, say no more. So now I know it's time to go the legal route to get them to do what they need to do. Like I said, it's not the niece, it's the aunt. And the aunt, all of a sudden, who is older, she has no money, and the house is in okay shape. The aunt has decided, I'm not going to sell. Like I told you, she's in foreclosure. They're going to take the house. It doesn't matter if she wants to sell it or not. So if you find yourself in this situation, here's the first thing you need to do. You're going to have to sue them. You're going to have to force them to come to court. Okay? And what you're doing is you're filing a case for specific performance. And you don't need an attorney. You don't. I understand that you want to believe, oh, I can't do it. I don't know what to do. Nobody showed me what to do in court. Well, I'm showing you, stupid, what to do. Yes, you'll have to read. Yes, you'll have to do a little bit of legwork, but it's better than hiring an attorney and paying a shit ton of money that you probably don't have if you're one of these newbie guys. I got the money to pay an attorney and won't do it. Okay? Because it's not something you should have to pay these guys for. You should know how to do this. This should be in your belt as an investor. That's why I don't flinch when people try to screw me over on a contract. I don't have to go hire an attorney to do my dirty work. We'll get you ourselves. Right? So let's get to it, guys. Very simple. So it's called specific performance. That's what you're suing them for. And if that's a new term to you, we're going to kind of break down real quick what specific performance is. If you see me looking up, it's because I have a 70-inch screen in front of me, not on my laptop where I'm reading the notes from, right? So please forgive me if I'm not always looking in the camera. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Okay, there we go. There we go. Boom. Okay. So this is from the Florida bar, right? Let's look at the title here. Specific Florida bar. This is where this is from, directly from the bar, okay? Specific performance of real estate contracts, legal blackmail. It's not me. This is the Florida bar, okay? Look at that. I love this. This is when it was originally, came out or what have you, right? This is beautiful. This has not changed, right? This is still how it works. So beware of real property owners. The mere filing of a suit for specific performance, regardless of its ultimate success or merits, can potentially tie up your property for several years with or without the existence of a lis pendens. The reason is simple. It is virtually impossible to obtain title insurance necessary to convey title while an action for specific performance is pending. In effect, this can be a form of legal blackmail. That's coming from the Florida bar. It's not me. It's the Florida bar telling you this. Again, here we are. Because the law treats each parcel of real property as unique, often a claim for damages for breach of real estate contract is not practical because it's unique. You can't just say, give me $5,000 for this property. Each property is unique, right? So the law allows an aggrieved party, that's the person getting screwed for you guys. I'm going to try to break this down in lay terms for you guys, to file a complaint for specific performance, which requests the court to order the party breaching the contract to perform its obligations under the contract. And that's all you need to do. We'll keep it simple right there. The law treats each parcel of real property as unique. Often a claim for damages for breach of real estate contracts is not practical. Just saying you owe me money doesn't make sense. What if this is a multifamily property where you're going to be cash flowing $90,000 a month and this person does not have that to give you? So they're saying there's no real specific financial dollar you can put on what will happen if this person screws you over. So you have to force them to comply. Okay? Now, to keep it simple, although both buyer and seller retain the power to bring specific performance claims if one believes the other to be in breach of the purchase and sales contract. So basically, I can do it as the buyer or the seller can do it if I don't come to closing, right? But the buyer, and in this case, I'm the buyer, has the power to tie up the seller's property in most cases, the seller cannot sell the property once the buyer files a claim for specific performance. That's it. Now, I know what you're thinking. I've never been to court. I can't do this. Guys, that's the fear they want you to have. So that way you have to run to an attorney. You'll never be in control of your life, your assets, your investments. Think of all the things they try to push you to an attorney for. These are things you should know how to do yourself. Okay. Somebody screws you on a real estate contract. Now you have to take on an additional expense of hiring an attorney for $6,000 or $7,000 or $10,000 because specific performance is expensive. It's not like your normal case, and those are expensive, but this is very expensive, right? So I'll kind of leave that right here. So in short, it's telling you what specific performance is, right? These are examples. You guys can go and read these, right? It's the Florida Bar, right? I'll put a link to the article in the chat so you guys can look it up later or whatever. Here's a link to the article. Bam. If you want to take a look at that, everybody can check that out. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you how simple it is to do a case, guys. Like, I'm going to show you. It's not hard, and it does not have to be perfect, right? Hold on, do we want to see this first? Oh, this is going to help with the case. I'll show you what this is, and I'll show you what this is, right? So imagine you have a chance to make, in my case, anywhere from $70,000 to $90,000 on this deal, okay? And the person is not complying. The best thing you can do is sue them fast and swift to let them know that you're not playing. Okay? So I've already kind of explained briefly what specific performance is. This is the type of lawsuit that you file when somebody is breaking the terms of your contract. If the seller doesn't want to come to closing or the buyer doesn't want to come to closing, file a case for specific performance, and it's less than $500 depending on where you're at, guys. And if you don't have that, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Come get me. I'll pay your legal fees, but I'm taking a piece of the deal, okay? I'll cover the legal fees. We'll deal with any of your cases, but I'm taking a piece of the deal, okay? So again, specific performance is what you file. It's the type of case you file when you need to get somebody to do something that they've agreed to, but now they're not doing it. So in here is where you get a lot of information to help you with your case, right? And if, in short, here's the 4 elements you need to make a case stick. These 4 elements right here, guys. This shit is not rocket science. The plaintiff will suffer irreparable harm. Yeah, if you don't, Your Honor, if you don't get this fool about this property, I'm going to take irreparable damage. I'll never make this money back. Yeah, we can prove that. Plaintiff has no adequate remedy at law. What this means for you guys, I'm the plaintiff. I'm the one suing the seller. If the judge does not force this injunction, I basically have no other way to fix this situation. There's no remedy at law. There's no way to fix this at law, no demand. There is none. So we got the first 2 proven very easy. That's easy to prove. What's number 3? Plaintiff has a substantial likelihood of success on the merits. So that's basically, we have a likelihood on the terms of the contract that we're going to be okay here, right? We did everything that we're supposed to do. We put in our deposit. We're ready to close. We got everything in place that we need. And a temporary injunction will serve the public interest. Oh, yes, absolutely. Because if they grant this temporary injunction and give us the sale of the property, this is another house that will not go to foreclosure, sit in a neighborhood, abandoned, and also bring down the value of the properties around us, right? That's exactly what happens if this thing goes to foreclosure. And also, let's keep in mind, people get hurt in abandoned houses. All kind of bad things happen, drugs, crime. So no, you don't want that to happen. I can prove all 4 of those elements for the case. And these are the elements of specific performance case. And these are always a part of any contract that's being breached by a buyer or seller, guys. If a buyer's breaching a contract or a seller's breaching a real estate contract, they're doing all 4 of these automatically. That's not a question. Okay. That being said, down here, some references. If you're not educated, right, and you didn't go to school and you never did a book report, these are your, let's call this your works cited, right? Your notations, where they're going to tell you what's going on. Look, they even tell you what specific performance is here. It's an equitable remedy that under Florida law is effectively the same as or synonymous with an injunctive relief. I know that's a lot for you guys that don't read legal briefs. So, but just understand, it basically says this is the only way to really fix your problem is specific performance, because your situation is very unique. It's a property. You're going to make a lot of money on that property. There's no way that you can get another property that's going to give you the exact same money. So that's what they call specific. Okay. So now here's where it gets really good. So let's just roll with me here. So you looked up what kind of case you need to file. You figured that out from the Florida bar. They told you specific performance. That's what you need to do. Okay, cool. So now you know what to do. You need some cases to figure out what to file. You got a case here that'll help you out. You got another case here. I would click these, but man, it gets a pain in the ass trying to read these guys, right? And I don't want to scare you. But there's a lot of reading to do, right? When you do these cases. So now let's go to see how much it'll cost. How much is it going to cost to file the foreclosure? I'm going to foreclose on the seller because they're breaching the contract. I can foreclose on the house myself. Don't play with us. I'm trying to be nice with them, right? So let's take a look, guys. How much is it going to cost us to file this foreclosure? It's a civil complaint, okay? And this is where we're at with it. Mortgage foreclosure, $905. That's if I want to file the foreclosure, the lis pendens, right? That's if I want to foreclose on the house. You file the lis pendens to foreclose on them also. I don't have to file that. I want you guys to know, let's say you only got $500, right? You can't afford the lis pendens. That's cool. You don't have to foreclose on the house. You can just file a complaint, a civil complaint. That's $400. Let that sink in, guys and girls. Everybody, let that sink in. If somebody ever screws you over on a contract, all you have to do, and I'm going to show you something else that's really cool in a second, file the case, pay the filing fees, and know where to file. That's it. And I gave you two types of ways to file. You can just do a civil case. That's going to be $400. Or you can do a mortgage foreclosure. Now, based on the value, mine is under $250. So my fees would only be $900. If it was over that, it'd be $1,905. Now, here's where it gets good. I know what you're thinking. I can't file a foreclosure. I can't file a civil case. I can barely read. I'm still trying to figure out how to get a contract. I haven't closed my first deal, right? Well, if you run into trouble and you're in that position, you can always call us, right? Phone number's down below. Look it up, right? You can always call us, or you can read. Use your brain. Now, if you're going to go the read route, use your brain, I'll give you another freebie, right? We appreciate you guys for watching and listening, so check it out. Here's a template. It doesn't get any easier than that. A template of who and how to sue. And to make it better, this is a federal template, right? So you can use it for any case, but this is for the federal courts, not your local county courts. But either way, right? So if you look at this form, guys and girls, matter of fact, I'm going to make it full size so you guys can see it, right? Get my ugly mug out of there. Let's take a look here, guys, girls, right? This is very simple. Keep in mind, filling out this form is going to keep me from having to pay an attorney, $30,000 to do this, $15,000 just to take the case. Crap. Just to get an attorney to listen to your case is going to be hard. They're going to laugh at you. Just try to get one to sit down and hear your case when you tell them, oh, I got a contract and the seller's not coming to close it. Okay. If you look at the document, it tells you exactly what to put where. So you'll know where you need to file at, right? I'd look it up. And it's going to be based on where the property is located for the most part, right? For the most part. So this property is in Orange County, Florida. I will look up the Orange County Court District that it is in, and I type that right here, right? It's a United States District Court for the blank, the 5th District of Orange County, 5th Division, something like that, right? And then the plaintiffs, it even breaks it down. It tells you what it says, guys. Look, write the full name of each plaintiff who's filing this complaint. Now, I'm the only plaintiff. The trust that I run, the company that I run, we're the only plaintiff. So let's just call this the 123 Trust, right? So the plaintiff is the 123 Trust. As you hear, the phone is ringing, right? And in here would be all the defendants. In the next part, right? So it's the plaintiffs, and this V stands for versus, right? The defendants. And the defendants would be whoever the seller is. If it's a husband and wife, you put both of them here. If it's just one of them, right? If there's just one of them, you put that person here, right? So say Jane Doe. Sorry, Jane Doe. That's one defendant. And we'll put Lamar Trust, right? So now they know who is the plaintiff and who's the defendant. Plaintiff is suing the defendant. Very simple, guys. Complaint. Look at this. This is the title of the complaint, of the document. It's basically saying complaint to require specific performance of a contract to convey real property. We made it very clear. And we even have the statutes and everything that we plan on, the state statutes, civil statutes, whatever you guys want to call it, to make yourself more familiar of why we have premise to do this. And it's diversity of citizenship. I'll get into that later. This is specific for this form, so don't worry about that. The parties to this complaint. Who are all the plaintiffs, guys? So let's say there was me and all my partners. We'd each fill out our name, street address, city, state, phone number, and email. For each of us. That's all that is. Right? Then we're done with that. Now for the defendants, the people that you're suing, right? Provide the information below for each defendant. Name in the complaint. So if you have, again, our defendant is named Jane Doe. So it'd be Jane Doe, her job if we knew it, her address if we knew it, the city and county if we know it, state and zip if we know it. And if you're suing them, you should know it. And if there's more than one defendant, you fill them out individually. Okay? So you're done with that. So now look, it's explaining every piece of everything you need to do, guys. You don't even have to think. Basis for jurisdiction. Guys, without jurisdiction, nobody can touch you. I'm going to keep it that simple. If they don't have jurisdiction, they can't do anything to you. So you have to explain to the court why you have jurisdiction. And it says it right here. Federal courts are courts of limited jurisdiction and power. Under 28 U.S.C. 1332, federal courts may hear cases in which a citizen of one state sues a citizen of another state or nation, and that amount at stake is more than $75,000. All of those criteria fit me, so I can use this federal case form. All of this criteria fits me. I can use this. I can take them straight to federal court. I don't even got to go downtown. I don't have to play with them. The seller doesn't want to sell, hit them with a federal court case. See how quick that gets them moving, right? So I just explained to the judge and everybody involved why I'm filing in federal court. Okay? Now, again, the form is self-explanatory. You just got to know a couple of definitions. If you don't know them, Google them. The shit is simple. The plaintiffs, that's the people that are suing, right? If the plaintiff is an individual, I would put my name here, but I'm not an individual. This is a trust. So it's not an individual citizen of a state. If the plaintiff is a corporation, right, I would just change that to a trust. I wouldn't put corporation to be a trust, right? And it says the plaintiff, let's say Lamar Trust. Boom. And if it's incorporated under the laws of blah, 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 right? We would just fill that out. Under what state is this trust? We'll put this trust is in the state of Florida. And the principal place of business of this trust, principal place of business is Wyoming, right? Just something like that, right? So you're filling out the form as you go along. You don't have to think about this, guys. It's telling you what to put. You do not have to think about this. Now, I've been doing this a long time, so I'm more comfortable than the average person. I get that. But this shit is not hard. And like I told you, an attorney's going to charge you an arm and a leg to do this. And most of them won't even sit down to hear your story to take you serious. So now we have the plaintiff out the way. And if you read the form, it says if more than one plaintiff is named in the complaint, attach an additional page providing the same information for each additional plaintiff. Can you read? Can you do that? Okay. Right? That being said, if the defendant is an individual, right, you put that person's name here. So remember, she is an individual. It's Jane Doe, right? It's an individual of, let's say, she's in Florida, right? And is a citizen of, let's say she's a citizen of, I don't know, Florida, right? She's not a corporation. She's just a person. Wording on page 4, right? Amount in controversy. C. It's telling you the amount in controversy, the amount the plaintiff claims the defendant owes, or the amount at stake is more than $75,000. Yeah, we're just going to put 90. Because it is. We're waiting on HUDs from both sides to prove it to you guys, right? I'm waiting for HUDs from the A to B and the B to C. Statement of claim. You don't know what that is. What's a statement of claim? Oh my God. Well, let's read the example they give us. Describe the real property owned by the defendant that is subject to this complaint. Of this complaint. Include the address or location of the property. So we'll just put the address. 123 Main Street. Miami, FL 33063. Yeah, I'm supposed to be FL, right? We'll put FL, right? Miami, Florida 33063. And they said, describe it, put single family home at single family home, and that's it. It's a single family home, 123 Main Street. That's all we need to do. You don't got to give them your story. This is not the time. You're not on trial here. You're just filing the complaint to let them know what's going on. So, statement of claim, done. B, describe the terms of the contract you entered into with the defendant to purchase the real property. When did you enter into the contract with the defendant? Guys, we entered into the contract, let's say April 2nd, 2022. What was the purchase price you agreed to? Let's say $150,000. Right? Does your obligations under the contract describe your obligations under the contract? Include any terms regarding required deposits. My only obligations on the contract were to help seller avoid foreclosure and provide more time in the home. No, I'm going to take the more time in the home out part. So I'm going to take out the more time in the home part because that's just too much. Help seller avoid foreclosure by selling the home prior to auction. Perfect. Help seller avoid foreclosure by selling the home prior to auction. That's what we were trying to do. Number 4, describe the defendant's obligations under the contract, including the obligation to convey the real property. The seller agrees to agrees to sell the property once a buyer was found. Buyer was found and the seller is refusing to sell the property property after a bona fide, I think I spelled bona fide right. I may not, or BONA, I think. Anyway, bona fide contract was executed. Okay. Seller agrees to sell. Seller agreed to sell property. Agreed. All right, so that's good. And we're not looking. I'm not worried about spelling everything right, guys. I just want you to understand what we're doing here. Remember, me doing this is going to save me, 30% on the property. An attorney is going to want a portion of the proceeds. All right, so C, describe when and how you complied with or attempted to comply with all of your obligations under the contract, including payment of the purchase price. If you have not complied with all of your obligations under the contract, explain how you are ready to and able to comply. We have a closing already scheduled for, we'll say 6/15/2022. Buyer is ready to close immediately to avoid the foreclosure. I just told them, hey, we have a closing scheduled already for 6/15/22. Buyer's ready to close immediately to avoid foreclosure. That's it. You don't got to do a bunch of talking. That's it. Describe when and how you requested that the defendant convey the real property at issue, and when and how the defendant refused to do so. Attach copies of any correspondence with the defendant, right? The defendant called and said, I am not selling my property. It doesn't get more clear than that. The defendant now is refusing to answer the telephone. Right? Now they're asking, what do you want us to do? Really? Oh, what is your requested form of relief? Check all that that apply. Oh, this is good. This is where it gets fun. This is where you get to demand the court. You get to move the court. Hey, listen, I don't want that. Here's what I want. You get to tell them, I want you to give me my money, or I want you to shoot her in the head. I want you to do whatever. You get to demand the court, move the court to do what you please, right? So specific performance of the contract. Bam, check that box right there. That's what we want. We want specific performance of contract. Explain why specific performance is the only adequate remedy and why damages would not suffice. There is no telling how much we can make in the future with this property. If immediate relief is not awarded, the plaintiff will suffer irreparable harm. That's my attempt at irreparable, guys. ABA. I know I spelled it wrong. Irreparable harm, right? There's no telling how much we can make in the future with this property. If immediate relief is not awarded, the plaintiff will suffer irreparable harm, right? Because there's no telling how much we're going to make, what we're going to do. And if they don't give us access to the property now before the auction, our chance to make unlimited income with this property is going to be taken forever. That's why it's irreparable harm that they're causing us, right? There's no telling how much harm we're going to suffer. We want to make sure that they understand that, right? So if immediate relief is not awarded, the plaintiff will suffer irreparable harm. Damages sustained as a result of the defendant's refusal to comply with the contract. Describe the damages you're requesting. We already have multiple offers to sell the property. Once we purchase it. So we're telling them we have multiple offers already to sell the property once we purchase it. We can provide proof of actual let's write it out, $90,000 loss. You can provide proof of actual $90,000 loss immediately due to being put on hold by the forget put on hold. Here's what I'm gonna write. Due to the seller's breach of contract. We already have multiple offers to sell the property once we purchase it. We can provide proof of the actual $90,000 loss immediately due to the seller's breach of contract. It doesn't get more plain than that. Everything I'm doing is one sentence, guys, maybe two, right? Because I'm trying to keep it simple. Let's go to the next thing that they're saying, right? It says, if specific performance cannot be granted, damages in the amount of $90,000, right? I'm not going to describe them. We've already described. No, I'm not going to get lazy. We'll describe them. This is the projected proceeds This is the projected proceeds of the sale of the property. This is the projected proceeds of the sale of the property. Our buyer is willing to purchase the property from us today at a $90,000 This is projected proceeds of the sale of the property. Our buyer is willing. And again, I'm not trying to make it perfect, but I don't want you guys to get bad habits and being lazy, right? And just not doing it. Our buyer is willing to purchase the property from us today at a $90,000 profit. To us as the seller. All right. Did that other relief? We're not seeking any other relief. Certification and closing. This is already in the form. We don't have to do this. You're done. You sign the form. You're done. Date of signing. You said the basic information there. There's nothing else left, guys. You're done. You just filed a case. You just filled out a complaint for specific performance for the federal courts, and the civil courts are even easier. This was just a basic template I wanted to show you of how easy it is to do this yourself. Like, this is ridiculous that, you would let somebody kick you in the stomach, take your deal. I'm talking about the seller robbing you and not do nothing about it because you don't know how. It's simple. And that's what we went over today, right? So here's the complaint. This is what it would look like when it's all done. And you go down to the office and file it. They'll give you a case number. They'll give you a case number once you file, right? And you'll fill this stuff in once you find out what courthouse you're going to go file. It's that simple. It's not that hard, guys, right? And again, to show you the other things that, we had back here, don't forget, in this county, the fees to file a foreclosure, depending on how much the house is worth, $905 is how much it would cost me if I wanted to file a foreclosure. But let's say I don't want to file the foreclosure. I just want to file a complaint, just a complaint. I can do that because a complaint and a foreclosure are two different things. Okay, the lis pendens is not the same thing. So guys, girls, everyone, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. This is a real deal. This is not something we're making up. I can show you guys the contracts. I can show you everything. And our closing was set up for the 15th, right? That was going to be 90 grand coming in. Yes, we have other closings. And this was just a bigger one than the other ones, right? So I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressed about it. We're just going to file. There's no need to stress. Just file, okay? And you should do the same. If somebody doesn't honor the contract, you shouldn't panic. You shouldn't get upset. You should file swiftly and let them know that you're not playing, okay, guys and girls? Any questions or concerns, please let us know. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Oh, don't forget, we're not attorneys, right? So, take this as educational purposes for all you guys out there, okay? And again, we appreciate you guys stopping by and seeing what we had to say. Have a great night.